Good morning, everybody, and happy Friday. Today is Friday, May 9th, 2025. For lunch today, we're having cheese French bread pizza and on Monday, soft shell tacos. We have a few birthdays, none today, but over the weekend, we have Judah Defoe, Dalton Schultz, and Anna Meyer have birthdays over the weekend. So come on down and get your birthday prizes at the end of announcements. I wanted to show you our virtue board and how things are stacking up. This is just the first week of stars where we're at. So I'll kind of zoom in here for groups. Okay, there's group one, group two, and there's group three. Next week, I think there's a lot of field trips planned and outings, so there is a lot of opportunity to learn stars. I will share that I am pleasantly surprised because most of the times when I was checking in this week, everybody was on task and doing the right thing, but there were a few times where I checked in with the cameras and it was disappointing just because you could have earned a star, but you didn't. So just make sure I'm always watching. Whether it's on the cameras or bopping around the school to check in. So that is happening next week, our last final week of school. And so as we are wrapping up our virtue of the week this week, which is docility means that you are willing to be taught. You are willing to learn something new. Have you ever heard the phrase, oh, she's a know-it-all? She just thinks she knows everything, or he just thinks he knows everything. That is not having docility. Docility is being willing to learn something new, not thinking you have all the answers, not thinking you're always right. And so that is a great virtue to practice, especially as we go into summer. If you're in activities, you're learning new things. And also the end of the school year, there's still time to learn. There's still things to be learned through the very last day of school. As we look to next week, our virtue of the week next week is foresight, and that is thinking ahead. And so I am actually going to tell you that virtue now because it's thinking ahead. And so thinking ahead to next week, what do you need to do to ensure you have a really, really great end of the school year? Think about those things because we want these last few days to be really fun. I got a special note that I wanted to address on my desk, and I know that we have some students that have been working hard to help with the recycling process. Now, we stopped the recycling process prior to when Miss Chaz left, and the reason we stopped it is, first of all, it requires a lot of discipline for what we are recycling, and also we would get flagged from the recycling company when they would come to pick up our recycling. They have a video camera in the back of their truck. And so when they are dumping the recycling, if there's anything through their cameras that is not recyclable, then we get charged for it. And so because we haven't been able to have the attention and for people to actually really vet and go through the recycling before it goes into the recycling dumpster, we haven't been able to do that because there are some things going into, actually there were quite a few things going into the recycling that should not have been in recycling. And so looking at next year, if that's something that the school wants to take on, if there wants to be a little committee that looks at getting recycling back in, I think that's wonderful. I think it's a great way to keep track of God's creation. It just wasn't working well. When it was working while we were transitioning through Miss Chaz leaving, Mr. Tony coming on, and even such, we've still gotten flagged for a few things for recycling. So we really just have to have some good attention on the things that we are recycling and some good instructions on those things. So thank you to the second grade recycling team who sent me a very nice letter requesting that we start this again. And so I think that when your new principal is in place, this would be a really great conversation to have with them. But it's not as easy as just getting those blue buckets back in the classrooms. It has to be purposefully done so that we are able to check those blue baskets so that when they're being dumped at the end of the day, everything in there is recyclable. So that is the reason behind that. And I did get all of your letters and your notes. So thank you so much for that. It is a great way for teachers to educate their kids how to appropriately ask for change and ask for those things. So well done, students. And I hope that we can come to something to help that out next year. I think that is all of the announcements I have for now. So we've got some VIP kids, and some of you have asked about the end of the year Deacon of the Month. And so that will be held on our last school assembly. So we do have our final school assembly where I will announce the last Deacons of the Month, some other classroom awards, and of course, I still have to get slimed, so we'll have to figure out a time for that. But next week, we've got one more week of hard work to do, and then it's going to be playtime for our Camp Learned a Lot week. So let's get through one more week of school and dig deep to practice all of those virtues, circumspection, thinking ahead, thinking of the consequences before you make decisions. It's a really fun time. And so let's work on those great virtues that we have to keep our bodies in control and just really able to enjoy each other's company. That is all I have. So stand for prayers and pledge after VIP kids and have a great weekend. Bye, everybody.